Bert Camper's got the man hits. You try to match wits. Why do you try to hold him? Oh, look at us. Okay. Oof. That focus be bad, yo.
That focus be bad. Oh,
is it gonna bother you?
Yeah.
Is it gonna bother the shit out of you?
Oh, so much, guys.
I mean, my friend.
So much, guys. Tell me when.
Tell me when Chad's visible.
Yeah.
I'm kind of visible right now, actually.
Chad doesn't look like he's covered in Vaseline.
I don't know why that's doing that. Oh,
Just on that side.
You can swipe a credit card in the back of my head, guys.
Actually, probably just take a cloth and like wipe it.
Yeah, that might be it. Go for it.
Yeah. Actually, mine gets like that too. So sometimes it gets like smudged up. So.
No, those things eat fingerprints.
Yeah. Mm.
That's what we're going with, guys.
All right.
I can be smudged. Actually, you might want to move the camera a little bit more.
That's what I was coming over to look. I need to go.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Like this is a pro podcast.
I mean, this is what the bonus hours is all about.
Actually, take the TV and pivot it this way.
Quick lo-fi and slapdash jobs and
There you go. And then kind of tilt it down.
being as quick as possible.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
there we go.
I'll be fuzzy. It's fine. I'll eat that.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one more time here, guys.
Try it again.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're live, so people.
I mean,
see
what
this, so it doesn't really.
are we gonna do?
It doesn't really
Here
matter.
we are.
Oh Jesus! I'm attacking you.
Live podcasting. This is what it's all about.
Yes, yes.
We haven't been in front of the mics in so damn long at
Jeez.
this point. I mean, the last
I
time
couldn't even tell you.
you and I sat in front of a mic to do an episode of this was while we were in Galveston, and those episodes haven't even premiered yet. Actually, I need to get back on that editing. Now that I think about it.
Well, it happens.
I mean, hey, we're doing a lot of rebranding. We're doing a lot of reshuffling.
As you can see.
Oh yeah, things have
There's
changed.
things.
Thank you to our friend Chad over here.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, without him, we would not have our cool new logos and all of the new things that we've acquired over the past summer. And as you can tell, a few people are missing. Ian's upstate battling the wind.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He seems to always think that there's a tornado coming.
I don't understand that. It's always a tornado. Like.
Well, and this is according to Ian. Well, you guys, like, you know, HARP, right? You see,
Yeah,
HARP
that's true.
controls the weather in Groveton where I live, you know, like, So,
It's possible. It's possible. He could literally be being plagued by government-induced weather.
I just want to say I've met him like one time, and that's pretty spot on.
I've known him for 15 years, so I hope that I can do a good impression of him.
I've met him once, and I think that's my lasting impression of Ian. So.
Come on, guys, like, yeah. He's fucking Wayne from Wayne's World.
It's great. He's fantastic.
He's my-
fantastic.
My favorite person in the world, probably.
I'm really irritated. I can't even look at the screen right now. That fuzz.
I mean, don't look at the screen. You gotta remember, don't look at the screen.
Hey, if it's anything, I'm just the guest today, so this will go away when the actual person's here. So don't worry about it. It's okay.
The screen is the least important part of the whole damn thing.
It's very true. This is a audio-based. What's that word?
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah?
done.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean podcast?
Thank
It's a
you. That's the
podcast.
word.
You know, the thing that you guys run.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes it happens, and I don't know where the words go, but they disappear.
I mean, you gotta make up your own.
I make up words daily, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we are a very interengaging program. Yes, he is Fuzz.
I know Squirrel. I'm just naturally fuzzy. I know.
In-
That's my boy. That's
Fuzzy
my boy.
like Nightcrawler.
Hey, Kurt Wagner is a fantastic
Hey,
character.
I love Kurt Wagner.
Kurt
right?
Wagner
He
is,
stays on my arm.
He has an X-Men tattoo. I'm actually very impressed.
Did you know he has a beard and everything now?
Nightcrawler has a
yes.
beard now.
Nightcrawler's pretty great. He's like one of my favorite X-Men actually.
Yeah, he's up there. I think just above Gambit, and I think I only like Gambit because of the Cajun accent.
It's the one I cannot do that accent. I just cannot do Cajun. I can do like the Mon ami. That's about it. That's like literally all I can actually do.
Well, see, it's because Gambit did a sexy Cajun accent. It's really difficult to make a sexy Cajun accent.
I'm not a sexy Cajun. I'll take that loss. I'll take the L.
Because other than that, you're either Leatherhead from TMNT, showing.
Oh, Leatherhead.
I'm Leatherhead. I guarantee.
You know what's funny? Okay, I have a story. So the other day, speaking of like old reminiscence of like 80s cartoons, I think we all have those moments where like it's like 2 in the morning, you should be in bed, but you're like scrolling through YouTube on your phone.
Yeah.
And somehow I ran across Street Sharks.
Street Sharks?
And I was watching Street Sharks, and I was like, "This is how did we watch this as kids?" And I was like, it was pretty bad. And I was just like, it was so bad that like I stayed up until like 4 in the morning watching old Street Shark episodes, and like I vowed to never tell anybody until like right now. So
Right now.
congratulations, this is my confession.
Look, sometimes you find yourself watching old episodes of the worst clone cartoons you can possibly find. Call me when you start watching episodes of Mystic Knights of Tir Nanog, and then we can talk.
Yeah, you got. I don't know.
Nah?
You got
I have it all on my computer.
You got it?
I do, actually.
That is one of those fucking shows that is like locked in the very, very back of my mind. It's basically a VR Troopers
Yeah.
or
okay.
Power
Yeah.
Rangers ripoff.
It's
But-
very bad.
Actually, I
but-
remember. Wait, sorry. I remember Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Big bad Beetleborgs. Yeah, of course.
I feel like a lot of '90s kids are like, well, we had it better back then. I'm like, but did we though?
I mean,
Some cartoons nowadays are fantastic.
yes,
I
cartoon
love-
nowadays.
Actually, I would argue they're better now.
Well, they treat kids like they're fucking adults.
I feel like the cartoons now are actually better than like the '90s stuff. '90s stuff is pretty bad. So.
No, our parents were correct. Power Rangers warped our brains and destroyed our futures.
It's very true. I think the big thing I think with 90s cartoons was more of like you had these studios coming out, like you said, they're copycats or anything like that. You had the same story pretty much throughout any of the episodes. You were just like, oh, we're gonna form a team, we're gonna go fight this thing, we're gonna get into hijinks, and that's like the American. Like,
Man, the
outline.
90s was full of damn hijinks.
Oh, it was.
I mean, that literally is that's the description of Endgame.
Yeah. Oh, the hijinks of them re-releasing it for a weekend so they can add one.
Hey man,
scene.
I'm gonna put my money into that pot because I want my deleted scenes.
It's just gonna be a closer scene, right? Like it's just gonna be.
I think they're adding one more additional scene that was cut.
Yeah, there's 2 scenes there. They
yeah.
add an after credits, and I can't remember what they said where it was added. If I'm not mistaken.
I think it's an end credit scene, and I don't know where they said it was added at, but I know there's more footage that was like, I definitely want to see this because, like, to me, sorry guys, but kind of fanatic here from Marvel.
Oh, listen,
so,
don't get me wrong. I'm 100% okay with in-game. I'm 100% okay with watching in-game multiple times because I've seen it 4 times now.
I have a confession. I've only seen it once.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I've only seen it
And
once also.
I wanted to go see it again multiple times, but this is now like my big excuse to do
I've watched
so.
it once in the theater and 3 times online.
Yeah.
I can't
They've
imagine
gotten more
watching
money
that one.
once. They've made enough money. Oh, it's in 1080p.
I mean, okay.
So I'm like, well, something just landed on my face and it scared me.
That's right. It's Between
That's
the
like-
Profound and the Profane, a comedy podcast where lifelong friends gather together, trade friendly stories, give friendly advice, and try to learn something new about their friends. While we're at it, try to make some new friends. Hey out there, new friends, true believers, bone whores, and personal army of trash
Trash
people. Joining me this week, once again, as he has for many a week, up to this point, he's my artificer, he's the producer, he's Destin Lair.
What's up, guys? Well, I've already been talking, but it's fine.
Joining us this week, new guest and a friend to the podcast. What do you want us to call you here? Just call you Chad?
Let's go for Chadventure.
Chadventure works for me.
Chadventure. One.
One.
Well, that's a Twitter handle, but
Yeah.
just go Chad. Chadventure's fine.
Chadventure's
So.
fine.
Oh, Chadventure and then 1 sounds good too.
I unfortunately don't have a clever intro for him yet, but he'll get one the next time he comes by.
It's true. It's true.
He'll
It's
have
true.
earned one.
Oh, he's already earned one. He's already earned one.
Oh, well, yeah, so let's thank him for all of these beautiful assets once again, taking time out and drawing us that new beautiful logo that's hanging above his
it's
head,
so
which
good.
I want to find a name for before the summer is out.
Yeah, it's gonna have a name.
Well, I gotta say, I think doing the assets before I came here, I just did the logo. I didn't do the other stuff until Chris had called me and he was like, "Hey, you want to do the podcast?" I'm like, "Well, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. And
Hey.
so I was like, I didn't spend too much time, but I spent like about an hour and a half just getting everything ready. And it's
Okay, I
like
appreciate it.
the fastest and the clutchest Photoshop job I've ever done in my life. So that was, and then of course it was the upload process, getting it all in place. So now that everything's here, it looks great. I think you guys have good media assets. You
Yeah,
guys- this
yeah.
will be your summer for sure.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so. I think we're kicking it. I mean, I'm just happy. There's words on my screen that aren't like me doing, and they look good. I'm looking at them. I'm going, that's all right. That's underneath us.
I mean, I like how everything you're saying right now is sort of like phrased as a question, though.
Well,
Am I sure?
No, I'm 100% sure. It's just doubting myself. I'm like,
Oh.
I'm Garbo. See, I'm
There's
saying
that
the
word again. I think Super Mario World ruined you last night.
Super Mario World broke me, my friend. Like, you were watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, there was times I could not stop myself from screaming into the chair that was sitting off scene. I didn't know. There was a couple times I had no idea what was even happening on the screen when I was playing it. So
I think I popped in it once and I saw you. I think at the moment that I came in stream, I think you just died. And like,
I couldn't tell you what time that was. I died. He gave me like 30 lives, and I blew
Twice.
through them twice.
I think I popped in like you were. I think the second together you're just screaming in agony. I'm like, am I bad luck? Am I?
No,
Am I the
no,
cause of this?
no.
So I
You're not
wasn't
bad
sure.
luck. I was just.
No, it's nobody
the game.
is great at Mario World unless you were good at Mario World when you were a kid, and then you also stick somebody who is actually pretty decent at it. Like I feel I'm okay at Mario World. I feel like I really haven't knocked the rust off the old Nintendo thumb, but it just seems to suck the life out of people who are playing next to me.
Because I was pressing with the button last night. Look, it's right there. It's starting to form from where I was pressing on the. Okay, so last night the reason I think it was here's the Super Nintendo controller, guys. Everybody.
The best controller
Instead
ever
of
created.
pressing like with your tip of your finger like you should,
Yeah.
I was using this part like this because I
Man.
was trying to hold run. Yeah.
Oh, and I, of course, have never been ready for anything in my life. Your shit host, Chris Myers. Today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about summer, because it is the bonus hours Summer Beach House 1999, because 1999 was the greatest summer to ever exist.
Yes. Yeah, it's before it became zero.
But, yeah, before it became nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
my graduating class was, everybody's like, yeah, we got 99. And I'm like, oh, I'm just 2 zeros.
well, the Matrix chose to lock Keanu Reeves and all of the world inside of 1999 for a reason.
Yeah.
It's
I
because-
mean, to be fair, gotta love that movie actually.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think they made a sequel actually, Michael B. Jordan. I heard,
Really?
Like, one of the Wachowskis coming back. I think they're gonna not remake, but like maybe requel it. So like you're gonna have like Michael B. Jordan as something, and then of course we jump back in the Matrix where it's like it's still there because it never kind of got.
It kind of never.
Yeah, it's kind of
It
still
didn't
there.
work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, but the end of Revolutions ends with them, acquiring peace for a short time. They even say, if I remember correctly, the Oracle and the Architect say
yeah, he does
that
say,
it
yeah.
will only last
Lasts
a short
certain
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are multiple ones, that whole scene. That really bad scene that was great. It was a bad exposition scene, but it changed everything about how you viewed the Matrix, which is kind of why people don't like the sequels, because the idea that the Architect built in failsafe that is the one and all that kind of stuff really kind of takes away the cool factor of that first one.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but because I think the Architect, I think the Architect adding a one is, I think it's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm losing words today, guys.
It's okay. It's a lazy Sunday. It'd be like that sometimes. So you mean the failsafe the Architect had put into place to potentially contain / expand the Matrix? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, get to fix these. It's going to sound weird, guys.
Yes.
So yeah, I think like the Matrix in general though is a pretty good movie. Like I really enjoyed as a kid. I kind of went to like this edgelord phase where I was like shopping a Hot Topic and I was like, I wanted to go for like the kind of the gothic raver, I guess style back then. And it was kind of funny because like all of us had the trip pants and we had like the pocket chains and like I never really. I wanted to like dress so much like that, but I just couldn't fit in. I was just like it was funny because I started calling myself the one in high school, and then it definitely didn't pan out too well. Let's just say that I could not catch bullets. I definitely caught them in the face. So
See, I wanted to dress as one of the ghosts. I loved the way the ghosts looked.
oh yeah.
The ghosts were pretty cool. Those were kind of cool characters.
Man. Anytime I played an MMO or anything, I was either always all pink if I could dye my stuff, or all white.
It'd be like that sometimes. I mean, I had a tangent for MMO conversations, but you had a topic you wanted to go into, I think.
We were just somehow we got on the Matrix. It's because it's 1999 here inside of the Bonus Hour studio.
Right.
I really want to talk about the Matrix now, though.
Yeah, I know.
The Matrix was a really great movie, and like we were saying, the sequels, although they were good, and that scene that we were talking about, the architect scene, it's a bad scene. It's a terrible scene. It's bad. It's poorly filmed. The exposition is too long. It's a 6-minute scene of just exposition. But the idea that it presents, the subversion of the Matrix that it presents within that scene, is probably one of the best parts of the Matrix series. And the way to follow up, if they do a requel, like you were saying with Michael B. Jordan, is to just continue with it. Because the idea is
you have to.
that Michael B. Jordan could now be the one, since there is no one.
Sorry.
Technically, Neo could be. He's dead, right?
Yeah, he died. He sacrificed himself at the end.
It's been a minute since I've seen Revolutions.
Revolutions.
Sorry, but it was a pretty good movie. But it was like I feel the same way with the sequels. Like the Reloaded was pretty good. But the problem with that movie is like it was one big movie shot in two.
Yes.
Where like it was Matrix itself was standalone, but like there was so much content they wanted to cover over 2 and 3 that it kind of felt like it's like I feel like for example like Infinity War and Endgame was actually one giant movie. I think they did it right by cutting those two into different movies. They're still
you had to. On that
they're still connected, but it's like they are standalone too. But I feel like 2 and 3 Matrix was like, they. I see some things, but god damn it, action to a 13-year-old kid. I mean, come on. That was for me. That was my '99 nostalgia. Where actually, the Matrix 1 was the first Matrix was in '99, right?
I guess it was shot in '99 and released in 2000.
Same era.
Ooh.
Yeah, same era. So for me, I was like practicing kung fu moves, and I was like, I want to be like the one. It was funny. It's standard awkward high school stuff you do. Actually, middle school.
Yeah, that would have been middle school.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the only thing I did not like about the Matrix was when it took so long for Trinity to die. Like that Trinity death scene. I remember sitting in the movie theaters going, when is this gonna I mean, can you just
get on with it?
Come on, man. I didn't pay $15 to see 23 minutes of someone dying.
I forgot that scene actually.
That was so bad. It was only like 7 minutes, but
didn't she?
Still.
Oh wait, she got stabbed by the Smith, right? No,
I think she gets shot.
No, it was the ship crashed and the steel girders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, she got washed.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually remember that
don't
too.
you dare classify that beautiful man into the same category as that. But yes, she got washed.
It's a verb now.
It is true. It is true. Man, 2099 was really good for movies now that I'm thinking about it.
2099, yeah. Yeah, that... the time that Spider-Man's from.
I distinctly remember 2099. It's just like yesterday. It's a very good
You
year.
know what I meant? 2000 and the year 1999 and the year 2000. I'm a little bit behind.
I don't have to pretend that I know what you're saying. It's a lot more fun to not.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, we're avid time travelers here, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's true. You got to learn the rules.
Where were you at in the summer of '99, Destin?
Drunk.
Wait, how old are you again?
I'm almost 40, bro.
Okay, so this is a big. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
I graduated high school in 2000.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah.
So
yeah.
I was definitely drunk at some point in the summer of '99.
That's appropriate.
I mean, yeah. What else would you be doing in the summer of '99? I mean, I was personally probably playing Pokemon Gold. If we're gonna be honest here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was probably playing Hacky Sack.
Oh God, you're one of those.
Oh, I still play Hacky Sack, man.
Did you ever have white guy dreads? You look like you tried to have white guy dreads at once.
No, I hated white guy dreads.
Good.
Hated white guy
We
dreads.
can continue being friends.
I started losing my hair probably around 21, around the sides here. And then I got real sad because I saw a picture from like 8 years ago in which everybody can see this area where it's completely shiny had hair 8 years ago, and now it's
it be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes age happens.
Yeah. And stress.
Yeah, yeah.
And stress.
Oh, don't get us started on the stress. That's why we choose to live in the summer of 99 currently.
Oh, 99.
So you have Summer 99, so like you guys are just doing like retro gaming right now.
I mean, that's currently where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several things. Wednesday's canceled due to scheduling conflicts. We don't know what's happening on Wednesdays.
Something is happening. I'm just not
We
sure
don't know
what.
why. It's under construction. We're gonna be watching some movies this summer. We're probably gonna be playing some tabletop stuff. I know we're gonna be playing games. And then we're working our way through.
That is a fantastic little device.
Is that new?
Relatively. Picked it up or got it. Was given it to it for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
This past year.
Is it it's like a ROM or?
It's
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much an emulate box.
Oh, wow.
An emulation box. That's what the SNES classics are.
That's pretty
and
awesome,
it's
actually.
labeled as by Nintendo, so it's a Nintendo product.
That's pretty great, actually. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
perfectly legal for me to own and call it an emulation box.
And
That's-
surprisingly, I think this is as close to like actual hardware you're gonna get as far as gameplay goes. So
That's pretty cool, actually. I mean, speaking of tabletop, I can go on for days about.
Yeah. So what have you guys been doing over on your channel, which is?
Victory Entertainment. So we are, man, we are doing we started throwing everything against the wall to see what stuck, and everything stuck.
hey, that's always a good thing, right?
What we started doing was we first started with a D&D game, and that was a total. It was a total request that someone was like, well, if you guys want to just stream something original, play D&D. And I was like, well, I was pretty reluctant at first. I was like, well, no one's going to watch that. Because, I was like, I different headspace then. But we streamed the first game, and it was pretty great, actually. And then I think by the third game, something happened where we started to see, like, it kind of hit us. We were like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool, actually. And so we did the third game, and then I'm an artist, and I went to school for animation and VFX, and so I was like, well, what ways can we enhance the gaming, the viewing experience of the game? And so we created some art assets of the game, and the world started building itself, and I was kind of like, it was fun because everybody that was involved in the game. We started talking about the characters. Like when I talk about Marvel and DC characters, because I'm a big comic fan, I talk about them, and I'm kind of like, well, they're really iconic characters, and you talk about them as if you've known them for like a good time. And it's like when we talk about our characters now, remove the stat blocks, and you're kind of like, well, what would happen if so and so got in a tussle with this person? And it's like we all kind of are just so familiar, and we care about the characters. And our first death really showed that. And the game has just kind of grown where we brought some people in with actual theater backgrounds. I think two of them are actively in theater. One's doing theater tours, I believe, and so we have this like immersive RP going on. It's really cool because everybody brings something unique to the table. And this past week, we started doing we did a podcast where we just straight up talked about the lore of the game, and it was incredible. It was last night, and I do a couple art streams where I'm drawing the artwork for the game, and it's been pretty great. And so I drink a lot of coffee. I'm constantly.
We all do.
I'm
we all do.
Constantly drinking caffeine, but I think it's been pretty great. So I'm very excited about what we got.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, tabletop RPGs is something me both. I just totally lost it. Both Chris and I. There we go. I grew up playing D&D. You're an avid D&D player.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for about, I guess, 10 years now. I
took
think
a little
about
bit
it.
of break, yeah.
But no, I love D&D. I love tabletop gaming. Did you run games before you decided to start running them on Twitch?
So my experience was I DM'd like at least 8 years ago, and it was about 8 to 7 years since I actually ran my last campaign, so I was a little bit rusty. But I kind of had this mentality of like, I'm gonna quote Iron Man here, but sometimes you got to run before you can walk, and
That's
so
right.
I just jumped in, and I actually had a co-DM for a while, and I was kind of like, well, I'll be the creative person, you'll be the numbers person, and then eventually one day we kind of came to an agreement where it was like, well, I'm just gonna do everything, and it was pretty scary because I know a lot of people who are power players, they do the immense stat blocking and stuff like that, but then I slowly started becoming that too. And it was crazy because like I hadn't played D&D for like 8 years, and I was just like, what is going on right now? But it was, I love DMing. I just never can seem to find time to play a game. It's always DMing.
Right.
But
That's the way I always felt. When I was playing D&D, I always ended up DMing. I don't think I've ever played as a character in 5e since it's been out. Like, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because that happens. The game is, if you don't have a good DM, the game is going to fall apart. Or
It
someone
is,
that
yeah,
going
absolutely.
who is involved in the story, is really into what you're trying to do. If you don't have that, you're just got someone, roll. Oh, you take 4 damage. Oh, okay.
I see that I actually want to talk about that real quick. That's a big thing. So the difference between, you're absolutely right. So you find players, and again, it's not their fault.
No.
You know, nobody has different people have different experiences. But I kind of come to this conclusion where I was like, well, if we're gonna play it on stream, it's a little bit different. You know, we want to put on a show. We want to make sure that it's as not as exciting, but like
Intergaging?
Don't say it.
Yeah, it says intriguing.
There we go.
You go. It's like for example, like, and I don't want to talk about Game of Thrones, but like, you know, some of my favorite scenes of Game of Thrones are those quiet hallway talks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so I wanted to find people who could do both, and so there's it's very particular people that I cherry picked, and then I think I did a good job, and you know, they you can't have a game like that. I mean, obviously, if you play with your friends, anything goes, but it's like, oh, you know, some players have kind of a monotone, you know, and,
Right.
and they're more number based, where they like to focus on, you know, creating the most optimized character possible,
Min-max everything.
which is, that's fine, and that's completely
It's
cool.
whatever you want to do.
Exactly, which there's no right or wrong. But I was like, I remember I that was my one thing I told myself. I was like, well, if we do this, you know, we got to make sure that we find people who have, you know, that's why I went for the theater people, and I got them, and thankfully, majority of the people that we have, even the ones who don't have theater experience, are still great. So it's like we got lucky and got some really great people playing with us. So
Hey, all I know is if I could play a game in which it wasn't, if I could play a game of Dungeons and Dragons in which someone was like, you're only going to roll 5 times throughout this entire session, I'd be okay with that.
Wow.
you know,
I'd be okay with that.
I mean, I actually.
Now, I'm not saying the whole campaign would be like that
Yeah.
way, but if I showed up, sat down, and the DM was like, listen, guys, we're not going to be doing a lot of action tonight. There's a lot of story we got to get through.
that is
There's a lot of
literally
stuff.
that's actually what happens to us. We have 8 players.
Yeah.
So we have 8 players, and it's one of the things where like all of their backgrounds intertwined. So imagine for a second, like I've written a novel at this point, and I've been like, guys, I'm gonna let you know right now. We have a lot of RP ground to cover tonight. We're not having combat, but when combat does happen, it is monumentally dangerous because we had somebody last time who did die actually, and he was revived. One of our viewers revived him with bits, which we do offer that service.
Yeah.
And so, but we might have a few sessions where it's a lot of RP where like we're progressing the story, we're developing things, and it's very slow. But it's one. Those are some of the best moments, honestly. Those are some of the most engaged. I said it. I said it.
So, I mean, I've been spoiled because I've had the same DM for the past 10 years, and she is a preferred storyteller. She would rather not do combat and deal with numbers, and that's where I'm more comfortable. Like I infamously to my group didn't update my first character's character sheet for almost the entire campaign.
Oh wow!
Like I was like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm level 10 now, but I didn't really do it. I didn't pick new spells for my bard until level 16.
And a bard, and you didn't?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, no.
boy.
Pocket, which is where my namesake comes from. Pocket was the kind of bard who would occasionally buff people, but his real get was throwing dynamite and necklaces of fireball. That was how he attacked things.
Gotcha.
Was necklace of fireball. So I never had to or wanted to, because I don't care about the numbers. I'm not there for the numbers. I'm there to act. I'm there to be part of the community storytelling aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
The community storytelling aspect is what I'm there for, and now I'm trying to get into actually being the head storyteller. actually trying to do the dungeon mastering thing. Although we haven't done D&D here yet, we've done a couple of episodes and a couple of shows of Monsters of the Week, which is one of my favorite games at this point. It's a lot more player ran on the story. The whole idea of Monster of the Week is it's a Monster of the Week television show, like your Buffy, like your Supernaturals. But the idea is that I create this map with large open spaces that are then filled in by the players. I, as the keeper, am reacting rather than setting things up for you guys to react to.
Right,
Which makes the storytelling even more community-based.
Yes.
And it can go anywhere. I don't feel like I'm railroading as much as I feel like I would if I tried to do D&D.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Whenever I DM'd 5e, that's when like I said, I came back and started DMing 5e. I had an issue with the people I played with wanted that action, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the story. So it was very difficult for me to get that situated with people that, and they enjoyed drinking a lot of vodka at the table.
Eesh.
I had to stop that.
I couldn't play like that.
No, I can't.
No.
I can't either. A beer here and there when you're sitting around, that's fine. But you getting smashed. All right, getting sidetracked. Sorry, guys. But yeah, with Monsters of the Week, the players are dependent on the thing, like you said, and you're not having to worry about people that, we got to add, what's our modifier here for this when we roll these 6d6s for a fireball. It's literally, do you have a 7 and a 9? Is it between 7 and 9? Oh, you kind of win. Below 7, you fail. Get experience. That's another thing.
Yeah, the fact that failures mean experience in Monsters of the Week
that's where the
is
Monsters of the Week-
very cool. It helps a lot out with balancing the story and kind of making the characters feel real.
Yeah.
They actually have weaknesses, they have foibles, they have chances to completely fail and muck up everything on a 2d6 roll. But do you have an idea of where you're going with your story? Like, do you know your end game at this point?
I have at least 3 potential outcomes of the game itself. However, the thing is that it's kind of a game that I don't really want to end. And the thing is that the Forbidden War, the campaign's called the Forbidden War, and there's always war. There's always something happening in this world. And so for me, it's like I'm not gonna lie. There's been a couple weeks recently where I had just been making up like a comic strip each week where we're making it up the day before the game, and it's like, but it works out so well. I cannot explain how the process is practical, but I feel like kind of like episodes of South Park. I think if South Park's still in the air, I don't know anymore.
It is.
So they usually create the episode and they finish it literally 30 minutes before it airs.
Yeah.
And I feel like I work better in that environment. It's so strange. But I actually was going to tell a story that really, really, really challenged our players and just kind of scared the living crap out of them. So we were talking about combat a second ago. Mm-hmm. So combat, usually in D&D games, and usually like in any kind of multiplayer game, it's team-based. Oh, my voice.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Checking audio.
And so like with me, like I think a lot of multiplayer based games, I'm a very team oriented player. And so like I see a lot of players just kind of go off and do their own thing. And while it can work in some D&D games, I started implementing this system where if there is multiple enemies on the opposing side of combat, they're going to use tactics and work together for call out shots and everything else like that. And so there was one session, and I'll get to my point here in a second, that the enemy team was a very well-oiled and structured special forces military time. And so they were calling targets. Specifically, they were pointing out which of the key members of the party they needed to kill. And so the party, they kind of went off to separate to do their own thing. And so in the process of doing so, one of them almost died because they were like, well, I'm going to go do my own thing, screw this. And then suddenly they're like, whoa, we got to work together. We really have to. We got to band together. And this all stems from my previous content journey. So I was an Overwatch player, and I hit, just for the record, so in Overwatch, I hit the top 2% bracket on the competitive ladder out of like 40 million players, and so I was Masters for reference, and so I'm very team-based strategy kind of stuff like that, and so like with me, I was like, how do I implement this into the game to make it fresh and interesting? And so like I started using Overwatch tactics and D&D combat sessions, and you would be surprised how, you know, I have one player, and he has, as a person is not this way, but he plays a character who's like this, very reckless, very run-in by himself, and he just does what he wants to do, but he'll get punished. He will be punished for, you know, doing so, and so the party has to work to either you run in with him or he dies, or you let either you go in with him and mitigate his chances of death, or you just let him do his thing and die. And it's interesting to see them have to work together, and the more they work together, the more they kind of bond RP wise and even person wise. They begin to bond, and I think that is really why the crew that I work with is so tight, because they've had to discuss tactics like on the fly, figure out who's got what spells they can expend, because if the cleric uses the one Revivify, but they know a big attack is coming, they've got to coordinate that someone, you know, who is the priority person to get the revive, and which players like will let me die, kind of, which has almost happened once before. And so it's interesting because, you know, it's you implement tactics in D&D, and you would be surprised how far you push your players and how badly they want to live, you know. So so that's usually how my games in combat go. And it's really interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for something that's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I am having a problem. Combat based, right?
Yeah.
You have something where you have spells, you have all these different effects, resources and stuff like that. You do have to have something where you're going to have a management system between the party, and you have to have these people do it. If not, Jerry over there, Jerry over there.
Hi, Jerry.
He's gonna die,
right?
But is he worth it? You have to hash that
Your
out
character has to make that call.
Yeah.
You have to, if for example, so I think, which is interesting because our cleric actually had this moment where an NPC who was on a big redemption arc. She did some pretty terrible things, and she's trying honestly to better herself. She was killed by one of the players I introduced because they were intertwined together, because the NPC in question had killed her family. And so upon first contact, of course the player character just bursts all their spells possible and just basically annihilates the NPC.
Yeah.
And so my cleric of the group, you know, she had been kind of helping her through this redemption arc. She had to make a call, like, do I use this very rare Revivify? Yeah. Do I bring back this NPC because everyone deserves a second chance, or do I let her die? And she used it to revive her back, and I think a cleric and a few people were in tears about how interesting it was. And she and one of the party members in person was saying, well, you know, you burned it, we're screwed. If somebody else, we lose someone else, we're bad. But she's like, well, this was worth it. And so I was like, that she had to make that, she had to make a judgment call.
It's a judgment call when it comes down to it.
Exactly.
I mean, I personally, like I said, have not had to make those, but I mean, playing Monsters of the Week, I think about it. I mean, every time you use a luck point, you're making, because you only have what, 8 of those?
7.
Seven
yeah.
of those, and if you're not, okay. So for those who don't know, luck points are if you fail a roll or you want to make a roll at 12, you have 7 chances to burn a luck point, and it's an instant.
Right.
Top crit 20, whatever. You get all the bonuses from it. But if you run out of all 7 of them, your luck just drastically changes. The keeper has the advantage to say, well, even though you rolled a 7, you tripped over a branch, and now you've got a broken ankle while you've got Chupacabra running at your face. What do? Your luck just runs out. And I think you have the judgment calls are the way to go in RPGs, because if not, you're going to have this flat, not emotionless campaign. It's just everything.
And that's the goal as a DM, is to elicit emotion. At least that's what I feel like it should. Like, if you can make a group of people cry over a fictional character that doesn't have any actual tangible physicality, like it's a character that's in your head. There's not even a little action figure on the table. Like, if you can make a group of people cry over that, you've won. You've won the DM game. That should
Griffin
definitely.
McElroy.
Yeah.
There was. There was this moment. So the cleric has her father's also a cleric, so it's by family that she's been brought into the Divine Order, and so the father. So the player character in question, her name is Clara. She's played by the wonderful Hannah, and so I played the NPC of Baldric, which older German man, very loud, boisterous, but he changes when he gets around his daughter because they have such a conflicted relationship, and I remember distinctly that there was a session that we did recently where it was Hannah and I was playing Baldric and she was playing her character, and so it was so deep that I feel like we were actually like in theater class. We actually work in the theater, and so we were doing it, and she started crying. Like then I started crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was on stream. I'm like, I don't care. Let this happen right now.
You have to.
It was one of the. I went back and I was like, it strained parental relationship between somebody, and it's like, it's relatable, I think, and to some people can find something in there where you're like, man, that's yeah, I got that. So it's like little moments like that where you're like, damn, this is more than a D&D game. This is a show.
It is.
When
you are watching a table, any tabletop RPG, you watch is going to. It has to be a show. If not, you're just playing a board game without a board.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, board games. I love board games, but if I'm playing D&D, I want a D&D campaign, not a board game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which is why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. Actually, go for it.
Which is why we actually don't do dungeons.
Oh really?
Really?
We do not do dungeons. Well, yeah, we don't, because dungeon crawls. Dungeon crawls are fun if it's not a show, but I feel like dungeon crawls can be kind of slow.
Yeah.
Actually, may I recommend something to you? I've been listening to these books by an author called Aileron Kong. Mm-hmm. It's called The Land. It's what's called a lit RPG book.
Okay.
So basically, he's in a world in which it's basically an RPG. So he finds items, he can identify, and he's got a interface in it. But what happens is the way Aileron Kong describes his dungeon crawls through these dungeons and these catacombs and everything like that is amazing. Like, these dungeon crawls, these caverns, everything that they go through have probably been some of the best listening of an actual progression through a cavern.
I might have to take you up on that, actually, because here's the thing. I did not want to do the Roll20 map of a dungeon. I feel like those are very slow in terms of viewership, but I've wanted us to go to some ancient caverns at some point, and I think that's cool. Please show me.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'll get you some links and send them to you. But it's just listening to their audiobooks, obviously, and it's a novel. But just listening to them has given me a lot of ideas on how, if I was to DM something, how I would approach it. Because in the story, this guy, he's from another world. He's been transported to the land, which is this. In his world, it was a video game that he played. It was an MMO that he played.
Right.
And the way him coming in this world, being real, knowing nothing about this, where he's at, just going through it and his progression, and having the narrator, basically, his mind, telling you everything. Mm-hmm. The guy who wrote it has to have played D&D for, like, his entire life.
Nice.
Just the way he's written it. It's so good. It's so good. I'll have to get it. By the way, it's called The Land by Aileron Kong.
Aileron Kong.
Kong. K-O-N-G.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, even as a player, I've always kind of found the dungeon crawl aspect of Dungeons and Dragons to be the least favorite. I found myself falling out of my character when we end up doing dungeon crawls, because then and it's no fault to anybody, but a lot of some people will treat it like it's Skyrim, where it's suddenly time to loot everything, put it all in your pocket, and maybe sell it later. Nobody ever sells anything later.
No one does. Go ahead.
I was gonna say too. It's kind of hard when you have 8 people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's kind of we prefer to focus on large scale battles, which that's where our strengths are in terms of, like I said, the strategy stuff like that. But dungeon crawls, I'll look the book up and take a look at that and see how it's done. Because
I've got the MP3s at my house. I'll send them over
for sure. Yeah, because I was like, there needs to be a point where, at some point, you go to a cavern of ancient something with an artifact, which. Yeah. that's cool, but I can't have us, crawl. Things would slow down very bad.
I agree. During our Monster of the Week, we haven't gotten. I'd like to get into a large game of Monster of the Week, but we haven't touched it yet. I think the most we've had is what, 4? No, 3.
Three's are
Three
running.
players. And I think Monster of the Week would do well for a larger.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going to say large scale, larger scale game.
Right.
Because it is not, here's initiative, here's this. It's
Right.
What are you doing? What do you say? This is you. What is happening? And everybody has an option, and it's not like you have to wait turns. It's
Right.
just go through it. It's the actions. Whatever happens, whatever happens, whatever happens.
Yeah.
It's really, really good, and I like it. But D&D is the main one. I mean, everybody knows D&D. Everybody gets into it. And every DM is different too. That's another thing.
I'll actually let you in a little secret. So the reason that, I didn't pick it for this specific reason, but one of the advantages of doing it on D&D, because again, what we do at Victory, we want to produce comics in the future, and not animations, but animations at some point. But that comes in time. That takes time, resources, and I can't do everything, so we would have to outsource. So that's a long-term project. However, D&D is a familiar platform. Everybody knows
it.
Dungeons and Dragons. So creating a story without having to go, we have art, of course, but creating a story that is based on a format that's familiar and easy to get into. It's like I recommend it.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend it.
I think if you're getting into RPGs, tabletop RPGs, play with someone experienced Dungeons and Dragons before anything, because it is going to be everybody in the war. I'm not going to say it like that, but majority of people who play tabletop RPGs know D&D.
I mean, yeah, it's your
bread and butter.
I don't want to call it. I was over with some friends the other day, and I broke it down into tiers, but it's not exactly tiers. But it's your first step is always going to be D&D.
Oh yeah,
That's the first thing you get into. It's the simplest. It's D20. It's one everybody knows. It's the most popular at this point, thanks to shows like Game of Thrones, for whatever reason, got people interested in D&D. Plus all the podcasts that have been out in the past 10 years.
Critical Role, especially.
Critical Role helped out with getting D&D on the map a lot. And then after that is where you hit your White Wolves and your things in that kind of area where it's a bit more open-ended. It's a little bit less dice rolly. And I've actually never played a White Wolf game. I'm interested in White Wolf. I think we got a couple of White Wolves back there.
No, I brought Vampire the Masquerade over.
I'm interested in White Wolf, but I've never touched it before, and I want to go deeper than that, though. I've been saying it for a while, and I said this before the game was starting to come out, but I really want to play Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
we were talking about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
So bad, because I like the setting of Cyberpunk. The reason I think I'm not running a D&D game here on the channel yet is because I don't know high fantasy. I don't really like high fantasy. Lord of the Rings is okay. My knowledge of high fantasy extends to Lord of the Rings. It extends to Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games, and then it extends to the D&D campaign that I played with my friend who is really, really into high fantasy. So everything I would do would be based on those things.
Is that Tackens?
Yes. Yes, fiance. But yes.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, she's ran my games for 10 years. She invited me in to the D&D world with a different DM.
I have a fun fact about Kayla, actually. So it's Kayla, right? So Kayla and I were both trained by the same person.
Yes, that was my first DM.
Yeah, he trained us both very well, and so I got to pull my my D&D mentor on stream one day, and he was just like, kind of happy tears, and I was like, you taught me everything I know.
Yeah,
you taught me everything.
Yeah.
So
that's always a good feeling, isn't it? You're like, that's my boy.
I was like, it's for you.
Yeah,
it's for you.
So I've had a bit of a fear of doing D&D because the person that has kind of taught me everything just by sitting at her feet and watching her play and be playing in her games, I don't think I could ever live up to it. And B, I don't know the tropes of high fantasy the way that the people around me have for so long. So it kind of puts this kind of I don't know.
Here's what I recommend. Just jump in.
Yeah, dive in.
Sometimes you gotta run freaking walk, man.
I mean,
and
that has been the philosophy of the bonus hour
so
since day one.
honestly, I would say
Guarantee it.
just jump in, start small. Honestly, I think of it this way. Let's look at. I'm gonna use an example here. I'm gonna use one of my personal favorites, Dragon Ball. Not Z, but Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
The very first episode was just running around collecting stuff. It's very. Some people now would call it boring, and now we're at a point where we can almost destroy galaxies. So, start small, rescue the princess or prince, whatever, and at that point, then just build your way up, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
But most importantly, have fun.
Yeah, yes, that I guess that is
the most.
Oh yeah, also I would like to say too, like make sure that you're playing with people that you know and trust. Make sure. I'm gonna tell this all to new viewers right now. Anybody else out there who wants to play D&D, please make sure. We all have moments where we get frustrated when the dice don't go our way, but please make sure the people that we play with do not tilt when things do not go your way. Because I promise you, yeah.
I have a story about tilt. I was playing, I was DMing one night. They were drinking. Shocker. And I looked at her and I was like, okay, so you take 7 necrotic damage.
Ooh.
And she was like, no, I don't. And I said, yes, you do. And she started crying and left the game.
Unlucky.
Last game I ever played with him, by the way.
Very unlucky. Well, I think I've had a couple moments too where I had players over the years where you don't find out until it happens, and then it's talk through it, no big deal, but it doesn't work out, then go separate ways.
Whatever.
But,
Yeah.
But but definitely, I think it's important to play the right people for D&D, and most importantly too, because I'm gonna put this out there like this. So I've been doing voice acting and acting my whole life, but everybody's done that, and that's okay. But like I think for some people coming out of their shells, to make yourself vulnerable. To do the voice acting character, you want to make sure you're around people you're comfortable with.
Yes,
because if you're around
100%.
comfortable people, you'll perform better. And so make sure, just get your friends and be like, let's learn some D&D. Actually, our main character of our game, this is her first game she ever played. And her experience is acting is actually she's a waiter.
Okay.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you gotta play with it. And like you said, fun is the most important thing. If you're not having fun, no one else is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it takes one person to, but don't be a tryhard. Have fun. You can plan for something, but the dice are going to say, not today, buddy. Not today.
No,
so.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, I rolled what was that one time we were playing monsters, and I think I had 5 in a row fails or something.
That was our last session here on Twitch a couple of Mondays ago. Oh God, who were you playing that time?
It could have been Tim. It could have been Tim. Could have been.
Do you have 2 Tims?
I don't know. And I don't know at this point.
You were playing with Agent
the vet.
Bacone.
It was the vet. The vet.
You were playing with Agent Bacone.
Yeah.
Or
Bacon.
Agent Bacon.
Oh, his name
Bacone.
is Chaz in Bacone.
I love it.
Ian's my favorite
Ian's
person in the
great.
world.
Ian's great.
Yeah.
He makes dumbass jokes.
Okay, I will say this though. There was one game that I played. I was not actually the player, and this is the last time I ever played a D&D campaign. I think at this point I was like, I get it. I don't need to. I can't play games. But so there was a person in the game. I created this really intricate character and his backstory, and I was like, I'm here for a good time, but I kind of want to try, And then my friend created a druid with a raptor who was a little bit slow, and his name was Bubbles. And so then I was like, well, okay, we're rolling. Okay, that's cool. It's fine. Bubbles the raptor. But he would continuously make Bubbles do things that was very questionable, and I was like, get me out of here. I can't be here anymore. So.
Yeah.
Tone is a really difficult thing.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole thing that you're saying with make sure you have people that you trust, and as a DM, make sure that they know what tone you're fucking going for.
Yeah, please.
Because you can. I'm fine with having a character in my Monsters game named Chaz in Bacone. Because I can trust my friend Ian to do that with aplomb and understand when it's time to pull back on the joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, if I was doing anything any more serious, you can't do that. You can't have
Yeah.
a joke character with a joke name. If I was doing a real ass D&D style, the world's ending epic campaign,
Yeah.
having a joke character is really difficult. And I'm saying that as somebody who's played the comic relief in a lot of my games.
Yeah.
I play comic relief a shitload. My first character, his name was Pocket. He was a gnome and a bard. He was a jester. So his whole thing was being the comic relief. That was
Right.
what he was built to do. But you have to know the character that you allow to play the comic relief has to know how to properly play comic relief. Because
Yeah.
if they don't, you're not going to elicit that cry out of them. And you need to be making the comic relief character shed a tear is it. That's it, man. That's what you're looking for.
Yep.
I agree. I think now I would this is an unpopular opinion, but yeah. So I do agree with that. But it's like I also would argue that it is possible that you have a character. So on a limb here, I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy. You have a talking tree and a raccoon.
That's right.
Yeah.
On paper, it's a terrible idea. But guess what? I cried when that tree died, and I cried when that raccoon. Yeah. So
Yeah, I know.
so it's I think it's okay to have a silly character, but like the silly character is actually serious.
Well,
Like,
they have to be real. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to be. A silly character is a silly character only as far as a silly character can go.
Yeah.
So I have a character right now that anybody here can take and just run with it. So Pancake the Happy Clown. He's an orc barbarian, but he uses comedy to hide his inner dark fears that he comes across. And so eventually the campaign, as a clown, he stops crying, and one day he starts crying. So he stops laughing and starts crying, and so the party has to figure out what's wrong with him, and that's whenever he starts to have character development. You're like, damn, that's actually kind of deep.
Yeah.
So have fun. You can use that one. Anybody, roll with it. So
I think we have a game. We had a game we played where we have two Tims, two people named Tim,
yeah.
and it's fantastic because I think at one point, I don't even think you knew which Tim you were asking about. You were
No.
like, Tim,
Yeah.
what? I don't. W. Yeah,
Timothy
so,
WK.
Timothy WK.
That-
I think that's the name of that.
That's what I call that particular campaign. That's been off air for this long. It's called the Timothy WK campaign.
It's good. It's good.
I mean the I am Groot, Britt. I am Groot. I know. So the what was I going to say? The Weasley brothers were pretty great.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah.
The twins. Sorry, Weasley twins.
The
Sorry.
Weasley twins,
Yeah.
Fred and George,
Oh,
do accomplish that very well. I think that Groot and Rocket are the two best as of right now, especially in Guardians 2 when you really get into Rocket.
There is this moment, and I know we're changing gears here, but I don't care. I love it, but I think there's a moment in 2 where Yondu has that conversation with Rocket, and like I lost it. I started crying because he was like, I think in my younger years, I kind of had like anger, edgier problems, and so you have this moment like, well, no one understands me, and then you meet someone who's got more experience than you do, and says, look, I've been through what you've been through. I know what you're doing. You're deflecting, and then it's like, I'm crying over an anthropomorphic raccoon right now, voiced by Bradley Cooper. This is the best moment of my life, and it's just like, it's so powerful because that's so relatable. So it's like I think any kind of character can if done in the right way, can be really effective in storytelling.
I mean, yeah, any character can. I'm not a fan of Thor, but they the past few movies, Ragnarok, Infinity
good.
War, and Endgame have made me love Thor.
Endgame Thor was actually my favorite.
I relate to Thor now
Chunky Thor?
because he's
Yes.
when he finally gets to I am worthy, like that those
Yeah.
moments have made
Yeah.
Thor for me because it's taken this strange jock character out of his element and turned
Yeah.
him into a real person with heart and problems and depression, like actual physical,
Yeah.
like crippling depression. And
Hemsworth is so good in that role, though. Like
Oh.
Hemsworth, they
Yeah.
couldn't. And after seeing it, he cannot be. No one else can.
No.
Play Thor, in
No.
my opinion.
I think the message of Endgame's Thor's arc in Endgame is that he's always been worthy, and I think that to anybody who's been struggling with depression, so that is a huge message. That it doesn't matter what you're going through, you've
Yeah.
always been worthy, of your own mechanisms and things. It's okay, babe. Don't worry. It's okay. Not too much was given away there.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
Fat Thor is not. It's not a big spoiler. Don't worry.
No.
But yeah.
Let's see. Well, what else has happened within? Because I would actually like to hit on that. Like Thor in Ragnarok was what really turned it for me. Because there's that scene where he's lost the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
he's lost
His
everything.
father.
Hela is about to take everything.
Yeah.
She's going to take Asgard, and there's nothing he can do about it. And
Yeah.
at that point, he knows she's about to kill him and take over Asgard. And then Anthony Hopkins looks down at him and says, "It's a joke line, but are you the god of hammers, or are you the god of thunder?" The are you the god of hammers scene is one of the most touching, brilliant little moments in those movies that, well, once again, just made me love the character because, God, what else does he say? Asgard is not a place. Asgard is a people.
It's a people.
And
Yeah.
they need protecting right now.
I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah,
I'm getting
Yeah.
boy, I'm getting chills again thinking about the moment. It was so powerful.
So good.
Yeah. Oh. That is one of those things where it's like there's a lot of messages in Marvel movies that I find just really applicable to a lot of things in life. And that moment was, you've always been worthy. And I think that after Thor kind of held onto the hammer as a crutch for a long time.
Yeah.
And finally, I would argue that Thor didn't develop too much as a character in Avengers 1 and 2 and Dark World, but that's okay. They don't think they knew what to do with him.
They didn't.
I still think Thor 1 is fantastic because
I loved Thor 1.
Thor 1 is one of my favorite movies in Marvel, but Ragnarok by far is the best because they made Thor into a character who uses humor to cope with his sadness or his tragedy. He's lost everybody, man, and Infinity War especially, he's lost everybody. So it's like in-game, not to give away too much, but it makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, the whole arc ends up making sense in the end. What's a game that makes you think of summer? What's a video game? Let's go video games. Let's touch on video. What's a game that just hits you in that? It's summertime. It's time to play this again.
I have one game to tell. It's a pretty tragic story, but it's a comically tragic story. But if I can explain it,
Go for it.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh man.
Okay.
It was a 99, but it was definitely a summertime game. So I think I told her the story too, actually. But I played Kingdom Hearts 2 in the PS2 when it came out in 2006, and I loved this. I loved past tense the series. But so I played the game the first time, and I was at my friend's place. I'm gonna go TLDR here. So I got to the final zone of the game where you're about to beat it. I spent X amount of hours grinding through this game, smashing X, all this stuff, and eventually I get to the point to where I was in the third to last boss, and is during a lightning storm.
You've told me this, and this is
It was during a lightning storm, and the TV was backed up against a metal chimney, and so because 15-year-old Chad didn't really think this through, so I'm playing the game, and it was backed against the chimney, and lightning struck the chimney, and it all happened so fast that the TV exploded. Well, the TV didn't explode. The glass flew forward, basically, and sparks started flying, and the PS2 got fried. And I felt a little jolt in the controller. I dropped it. I was like, oh my God. And after that was done, of course, the parents of the place were like, oh my God, the house is going to catch on fire. I was like, oh my God, Kingdom Hearts 2. I was like, no, I spent all this time in this game. And so we got the PS2, we hooked it up to a different TV, and turns out all my data was erased. And to this day, I'll just watch the Let's Plays.
yeah.
I'm a little bit scarred, but I love that game. It was so good. But then I was like, damn it. It's pretty much that's what happened to me.
What about you?
I hit Wind Waker a lot just because it has that
That's
feel.
a good one, yeah.
But I've been thinking recently, and I was talking to my brother. We were talking about Nintendo 64 Classic and what he would like to see on it.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
he reminded me of this game that we never owned, but we rented all the time. It's a Legend of Zelda clone called Mystical Ninja, starring
Goemon. I played that game, actually.
I love that game.
That game is so good.
And it feels like summer to me because it was a kind of one of those 5-day rentals from Blockbuster that we could pick up at any time because nobody else rented that fucking cult classic.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of just sitting on the floor with my brother upstairs and trying to figure out this strange game. I don't think I've ever beaten it. I don't think I've gotten past the part where I think the furthest we got was we picked up the small robot that you put the battery in the back.
Sasuke.
Sasuke.
Yeah.
And the one part that really always sticks in my head was the mecha part where you get the giant
Impact.
impact.
Yeah.
Impact.
I remember the theme song distinctively. Occasionally,
Dash dash dash.
Yeah.
They had one of those on 64.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because
No.
I played the Super Nintendo one.
It's a trilogy, actually. There's the one on Super Nintendo, and then
Yeah.
I think there's 2 on 64.
There was a
There's
2D
Game Boy one as well.
There was a 2D one on the N64, but I remember playing the Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. That was probably like, actually, Attackins and we spent most of our summer just playing that game. And I remember, actually, I have another one in a second, but we played that game and we loved it so much because it was so damn good. And they just never, Konami did Konami things and they didn't really get it together. But I was like,
We all know the Konami
yeah.
things.
Oh, I know.
Fuck Konami.
So like basically like the game was really good, and so like I beat it and I was like I just kept playing it again over and over, and I was like the robot fight scenes, the characters were really cool. Abismaru was my favorite. He was kind of the nervous overeater.
Yes.
Who was a little chunky, but he was, to me, I think he was the most optimal character because I think he could reach areas the others couldn't. So like if you wanted to speed through a dungeon. I'm getting into speed running now a little bit, but you use Abismaru.
Yeah,
But it was a good game. It was a very good game.
Ah, man. Okay. You've played a little of this game, and
Yeah.
it's a very, very special game for me, and it's Star Tropics.
Really?
On the
Yeah.
Nintendo.
you
Because
love that Star Tropics.
I love that game. Love that game. Of course, me being older, original Nintendo was my system.
Yeah.
Right.
And Star Tropics was my favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
Still is probably my favorite game if you have a proper controller. We found out that if you have a not proper controller, it doesn't work very well.
Damn.
But yeah, that game was great. It's a platformer that's very odd, actually, the way it looks.
It plays like a Zelda game,
But more
a
platformer.
top-down 2D Zelda game, but it has a lot of jumping and platforming mixed up in it.
Yeah.
It's an odd game. It's far. It's beyond my time in the sense of like, what the hell is this? And I'm not super into all the original Nintendo games. Original Nintendo did not have the library or the polish that Super
Right.
Nintendo eventually had.
Right.
But I can absolutely see why, if Star Tropics was one of those games that you picked up when you were just getting into thinking about games in the way that we think about games now, a cognizant thought about what is my favorite game, what are video games, and why do I enjoy things. I can absolutely see why this game about being on these islands out somewhere
the Coral Islands.
would make this impact on you. Oh, impact. Okay.
Is it Coral
yeah.
Islands?
Yeah.
But yeah, that game was. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many hours I spent playing that game. That game. I mean, it was my summer for probably when I was. I can tell you exactly. I can't remember I was probably 10.
Yeah, no,
11?
I would see.
Maybe.
That game looks like it came out in '87, so
Let's see.
I wouldn't.
I'm not sure what this one is. So I probably gotta sit this one out. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
1990. So I would have been 9. I would have been 9.
Yeah, it's
So that's definitely a 9-year-old would see that and go, "Oh, jeez, I got a yo-yo and I can attack." Okay.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
I mean, there were some pretty great NES games I actually played. I remember back then. I was more of a Genesis kid,
Okay.
and I think I had Shining Force.
Shining Force
Was really
was
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, that was a pretty good game. Honestly, you guys should do like a podcast block just for talking about retro stuff. Like totally.
We could.
I mean, you guys have endless potential and rebranding. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit here and just talk about games that I played. Also,
yeah.
Harvest Moon: Back to Nature is another one that is very, very summery to me.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I think that my brother and I just ended up picking that one up during the summer. Was more of that one, and you had all that time back in the day to just do nothing but farm.
Yeah.
Do chores. Do virtual chores, everybody. If you've ever done
Yeah.
virtual chores, because I have, and it's the best goddamn thing I've ever done.
Yeah. I never played a lot of Harvest Moon because of that. Because
The idea of doing virtual chores.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think when I first saw Harvest Moon, I was like, I'm not. I don't think that's for me.
Yeah.
Like the art style and everything just wasn't for me. Now I'm older. I'm looking. I'm like, that's so cute.
yeah.
I want it. But like another game that was similar to that, not to that, but to Shining.
Shining
I
Shining
shouldn't
Force.
say Shining is similar, but in
Yeah.
the same vein, it was called Shining Wisdom on the Sega Saturn. They took. Yeah, I played a Saturn. There was like 2 games on it. Panzer Dragoon. Oh wait, 3.
Panzer
Knights.
Dragoon was pretty great, actually.
Knights was good. Panzer Dragoon's coming back. Woo.
What is?
Yeah, it's coming on Switch. We're
Nice.
getting a remake. But it was it was definitely a Zelda game. I mean, it looked like Zelda, but they took aspects of Shining. It was the same world, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just good. It was pretty. It was the first disc system I'd really played, and it was still Sega, and it had the word "Shining" in it, so I was all good for it, and it was great. It was great. Everybody should check it out. Don't buy it. It's like $170
Oh my
now.
God.
So
Yo, it's
one of
okay.
those
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the actually really quick, I see a pattern. I see like the pink with the logo here. It's pretty cool. I should have made this one blue actually if I'd known that. Sorry, patterns, colors.
I've
yeah,
got
you're
pink,
right.
I've got pink these too, so I'll just put another pink.
Sorry, I'm like it's the.
No, I agree with you.
The colors coming out actually.
Now that you pointed it out, I'm like, God damn,
That's actually pretty great. Yeah, I didn't even plan it. I didn't plan for it at all. So speaking of overpriced games, they had a limited edition print of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast, and the actual copy of the game goes for like $200. Actually, it was a PS2. The PS2 version of the game cost like $200+ because they only printed X amount of copies of it, and I was like, oh my God.
I think I actually might own that. Now that I got to look at the cover.
You-
I collect in retro merchandise, retro video game merchandise, and retro video games. I have a huge collection.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I got to look at the cover real quick. I can tell you.
I wish I had the ability
Yeah,
to
I
collect
do.
again because but by the time I got to the age where I was able to afford to collect, the collecting market had been ruined by people with money.
Yeah, I remember the Pokemon trading card. I mean, that's actually still pretty hot now. But I think the Pokemon collectible market and the Beanie Babies crash.
Yeah.
The Beanie Baby implosion of whatever,
1999.
of 19. Here we are. That was pretty catastrophic. So I was just like, man, Beanie Babies though. Beanie Babies were.
Oh,
I collected.
It's the PS3 GameStop exclusive of it. That's $200.
What?
Yeah.
There's
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, it's the PS3. Just say, PS3 GameStop exclusive. Game download voucher included. It's $119.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I would buy it.
I would buy it too.
I would buy it. I love fighting games. MVC2 was actually kind of my summer.
Y'all keep talking.
I am not a fighting game guy. I could never get the mechanics of it. I was never one for figuring out combos and whatnot. You're looking for your fight stick. It's in my closet. I mean,
I'm going.
do you gotta pull the whole rig out right now?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I actually wait. Man, I kind of want to play a fighting game now. Actually, I think yeah. It's like freaking. I remember I got into fighting games for a good while. MVC2 was kind of my go-to, and it was pretty great. And there was a brief period of time when Marvel vs. Capcom 4 / it's called Infinite came out. I was getting pretty tired of Overwatch, and I wanted to kind of switch scenes. I wanted to go fighting game community, but then I realized I was like, I'm not bad at this, but this is my calling.
Yeah.
Which is what I do now. But I did kind of want to do that content creation wise for a little while. So like, I love the challenge of getting my ass beat and learning from it.
See, I have to disagree. Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
That was a good game.
It was a garbage game to me.
Man.
The game was good. Okay, the game was good. The community was bad.
Oh, of course.
The community was horrible.
Of course.
And the online play was
most
garbage.
fighting game communities are. And anything with a competitive edge to it, a little bit rough to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, the Smash community, a little rough to get into.
Street Fighter community is very difficult.
Well, because it's competitive, so everyone.
And there's so many good players.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that play these games now play online, and playing online versus playing a tournament in person, it's completely different.
There's
You've
a
got
tiny
lag,
bit. There's
you've
a
got,
yes.
You've got
yes,
frames.
Yes.
Frames. Frames are different. The input lag. Everything's different. So I understand it. I am an online guy. I will never go in person to play in a tournament unless it's like 4 people that I know.
I actually went to one. It was absolutely nerve wracking. I have a story. I went to a tournament with one of my friends, and they just invited me. It was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out, and so to this day I'm still a very amateur player. But I was like, whatever, let's go. Let's just get in there. I don't care. And so I got in there. I was up against this guy, and you had your different little stations where you do bracket and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I shook his hand. I'm like, okay, well, good game. He's like, yeah, no, for sure. And I proceeded to beat his ass. And I progressively saw him get tilted. He would start grunting, and I'm a very awkward person where I'm like, okay. So like he would start getting angrier, and he would start like kind of like slamming his fight stick, and I'm like, okay. And so, but eventually I beat his ass, and I was like, yeah, good job. And he just kind of glared at me, and I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
And I went into the next bracket, I lost, but that first one that I beat, I think he had been training for a while. Then I just kind of jumped in and just winged it, and I was like, it was more than just spamming attacks. I was trying to combo some certain things, but it's you gotta have a certain mentality. You gotta be ready for that. I wasn't ready, and I was like, okay. So.
Oh, dude, I'll play somebody, and if they get salty, I'd be like, pretty salty, huh?
Yeah.
I would be if I just got that beaten.
I'm not gonna lie. Overwatch, 95% of the Overwatch has removed the salt from my competitive gaming. I used to. I didn't rage, but I would get salty on losses, and so like I learned that if you're gonna climb a ladder on something, you got to be.
You got to be ready.
You got to be just this mentality of like GG.
Yeah.
GG next. Yep. That's all you gotta do. If you
every game game is a different game.
Exactly. If you don't have the mentality, then it's like it was gonna be rough.
Yeah.
For sure. Did you ever play anything that like you thought you could be competitive at if there was anything?
Not really. I mean, not in any actual sense. Like, even though I had a younger brother, we were a pass the controller kind of crew. We were hey, let's sit down and get through Ocarina of Time together.
Right.
So that is far more my speed and what I'm into. I love Smash, and I love, but I don't want to be competitive in Smash. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this stressful, I gotta win thing. And that's how I feel about kind of all video games. So I end up in this sort of just single player. I enjoy a good story. I enjoy walking through an immaculately built immersive world, or solving simple puzzles in a dungeon. Zelda's probably the closest game to my heart when it comes down to it. So no, I've never gotten super competitive in anything. Mostly because why do it? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think I probably will get back into the fighting game because Samurai Showdown.
I heard about that.
Is it out yet, or I don't think.
I'm not sure actually.
I don't know, but I played that a lot as a kid, and I need something that's not Street Fighter V to play, and that's not BlazBlue or King of Fighters, so I just bend over and take it.
Yep.
And I think Samurai Showdown's the one, because looking at it, you're looking at it and you're going, okay, it's not this crazy, I have to string 15 things, launch them, string 15 more moves together, go into super, rinse, repeat. It looks like there's actual frames where you can like block stun looks like a thing, and everything. It's great. It's great. 2 more days and what? Samurai Showdown?
It might be that actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Gotta get some money.
All right.
Yeah.
Might be starting.
You're gonna get back into the community?
Oh, yeah. I think I might.
Oh man.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. So something happened when you guys hung at my place last week. So we actually had this moment where I did
the wall trick.
Yeah. So I can't show you. I don't have any footage of it, but I've been looking at Ocarina of Time speedrunning. I won't do it. It's not my game. But 25th. Oh, nice. Actually, yeah. I was playing Ocarina of Time. I discovered, or I discovered, like I partially did the Door of Time skip, where you as young Link, you screw getting all the gems. The cork. What is it? The freaking emerald. The things. The 3 that you open the Door of Time. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna jump through it. And I was kind of like, dude. I thought for a second you were like, did you just discovered your speedrunning career?
No,
it kind of felt that way.
What happens with me is if I try something and I know that I can do it, I'll just keep doing it until I do it. unless I get to the point where I'm gonna rage. I'm probably gonna throw this. This is not my controller. I need to set it down. But I do like that Door of Time trick.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I'm gonna sit down and try it. It's gonna happen. But things like that, like if I go into a lab and fighting game or something, that's what I call the training room.
Yeah.
If I go to the lab and I sit there, I could sit there and just mash out the same combo until I get that combo down. And what frustrates me is that when I go to a game, I can't do the combo. But that when we were doing that door trick, that's kind of happened. I was like, I'm watching this guy do it. He told me exactly what to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing that at the point, and nothing's happening for me. So I was just like, I'm gonna. This is happening, but yeah. But I do like that. I would totally get into something like speedrunning, but I think it would have to be glitchless, like what you were saying. Like I would have to get into something and be like, I need to do this as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about records or anything
I'm
that.
yeah.
I want to see how fast I can do this, and if it even, because I think that's entertaining. Because if you're watching somebody and they're like, "Oh fuck, I missed the last potion next to the thing," I'm like, "Well, he's got to start over. That sucks."
That really does suck.
Yeah.
I think the glitch speedrunning, the community is incredible. The idea that these people take these vertical slices of these games and get down to the nitty-gritty of the code and find these little loopholes is kind of a beautiful thing and kind of an amazing thing. But that's not how I take games. I take games as a whole. That's just how my brain works. It's a linear path from start to finish. So like you were saying, like a glitchless speedrun, if I was to get into it, that's more my style.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps if you just sat me down and were like, no, you have to get through this door the way that I'm telling you to, I could probably figure it out, and I might find a love for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could absolutely, because I do have the ability to kind of find love for just about anything.
Yeah.
But the rules of the game are the rules of the game, and it's hard to get over the idea, especially with something like a Mario World or a Ocarina, where I've played those games so many times. I know it in and out. And so just not doing it in the order that I've always done it and in the way that I've always done it is really, really difficult for my brain to get over.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Were you the one telling us about someone was doing it with audio cues or something in a game recently?
I mean, that's how Super Mario World works on rhythm. We were talking about that yesterday when we were playing.
That might have been.
I think so, yeah.
It is a rhythm platformer. That's why personally I can't play Mario World without the soundtrack playing. I know people who play Mario World and like they play Weezer in the background because that's what was out during that time. Pinkerton had come out at that time.
Great
so
album.
but I don't understand how people can play video games period without the soundtrack going on in the background because sound is so indelible to games, especially that era.
I need to show both of you. There's this man. He is completely blind, like cannot see nothing black.
Mm-hmm.
He has been able to play through Ocarina of Time by just audio cues.
Damn,
The entire thing.
I need to
and he has
see
a setup.
this.
It's surround sound. He sits in a chair. And he's got surround sound around him, and he can play. I'll show you the video after we're done. It's amazing.
Wow,
that's
amazing.
actually
I'll give
pretty
him credit.
great.
And when I find out, I will come back and I'll tell you this guy's name because he is amazing at this.
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty great. I definitely need to check that out for sure. That's an accomplishment. There was a speedrunner that I saw. I think he has decreased motor function in his hands, but he is the world record of the game. And he went to GDQ, Games Done Quick, which is it's an annual charity speedrunning event where they raise money for cancer research.
Right,
and he did it on stream, and he came out and he was like, I just want everyone to know that if I can do this, then you can do anything in your life. And then the audience started crying, and then I started crying, and then he started crying, and I was like, oh my god, this is powerful.
I mean, there's a pro Street Fighter player, Broly Legs, who plays with his face and tongue,
yeah,
and has everything. He's a pro. I mean, he's and with Chun-Li, but I mean, she's got a lot of option selects, but it's fine. And he's amazing at it. I mean, he doesn't just play Chun-Li, but
I mean, you showed me a video of that guy, and that is incredible to watch. Is this guy just like and literally, it looks like he's just rolling his face to somebody who's not
not Not an
avid gamer, or not an avid fighting
gamer.
gamer, and not into the community. It looks like he's just face rolling on this controller, and he's whooping ass in the competitive league. And it is beautiful and amazing to fucking watch.
Speaking of which, there's actually a clip I'll show you guys later. I wish I could do it now. It's so powerful. It's called Moment 37.
Oh,
it
Evo,
is
Moment 37?
You know that. Okay,
I know.
Moment
Oh, yeah.
37.
There's actually in Street Fighter 5, I think it's Street Fighter 5, they put Moment 37, the parries. No, it was when they re-released Street Fighter Third Strike. I think it was Third Strike.
It was Third Strike.
Where the Daigo Umehara.
Daigo was in Justin Wong.
And Jay Wong.
Jay Wong. I had no idea you knew this, by the way. I had no idea.
Listen, I've been to Texas a few times. Okay. Wong Factor is hard. Okay. Daigo Umehara, Jay Wong, Moment 37. I have never seen so many parries timed that well in my life, and no one, I don't think, well, they added it as a challenge in the new Third Strike, is the Moment 37 challenge, and it's probably one of the coolest things anybody, even if you're not into fighting games, can watch. It is amazing to watch.
I think the message for me, and to explain to Chris, basically what it is that Daigo Umehara was against the ropes. If one more hit, he would have been killed. And Jay Wong came at him with a volley of kicks from Chun-Li. But what ended up happening was that Daigo, in this moment, frame perfectly blocked every single kick, and then proceeded to combo him into oblivion. And he had a slither of health to do it. The crowd
went nuts.
I'm getting chills thinking about it, actually. But the lesson behind that video was never give up until you find out. Oh, I get fucking chills right now, bro.
Dude, that's why Daigo's one of the fighting game gods, man.
Yes.
And Jay Wong should be considered one, but he's not one of the Japanese guys, so it's not.
I have a confession to make. I was 5 feet away from Jay Wong at TwitchCon, and I was too afraid to say hi. And then I went into his stream, and he was like, "Well, how come you to come say hi to me, bro?" And I'm like, because I was shy.
I think it was 3 or 4 Texas Showdowns ago. He won, and I was there. And friends of mine went. She got his fight stick. He won.
Oh my god, that's pretty great.
Everything. It's really cool. It's sitting up in their house right now. Justin's really cool. Jin, he's this South Korean guy, plays Gen a lot. He's amazing. I smoked cigarettes with him outside of the place, chatted with him. It was great. Jin's awesome. There's certain people in the community of fighting games that are amazing. Then there's certain people that are like low tier god, who I'll call him out on stream. I don't care. Come at me, bro. Who just rage quits when he's about to. Yeah, and then he thinks he's amazing. Fucker. Sorry.
I'm just here.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I think that is we're getting to a wrap up point here.
Yep.
Where can we find you? When are you going to be streaming the Forbidden War? And how can everybody out there see what you're up to?
So if you want to, the biggest suggestion would be to follow the channel Victory Entertainment here in chat. We have a pretty active Discord community. Actually, my phone. Yeah, it's pretty active. We're pretty open. So follow the Twitch channel, and of course all the links are gonna be on the at the bottom of the Twitch panels where our information's at. And we stream pretty much every day at this point. So
nice,
awesome, man.
Nice to hear.
I haven't had a chance to check it out yet because every time you hop on, I'm either like
I'm
doing something, or I'm working, or I'm doing
working
this,
here.
Yeah, I do need to check it out. I mean, from what you've been telling me and what he's told me, what everybody's told me, it's great. I want to see it.
Thank you. Well, Monday actually starts we actually call it I'm calling it our game expansion. We are starting off book 2, if you will. So it's going to be a completely revamped asset / story. So there's always recaps you can watch, so you don't have to worry about watching it live. But definitely, if you want to come stop by at some point, by all means, it's a good time.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. And you can catch us right here on twitch.tv/The Bonus Hours Network all summer long as we run through the Bonus Hours Summer Beach House series. Every day is something new. I think Monday is going to be actually Harvest Moon Day. So I'm going to be taking my 2 friends and teaching them how to properly farm. in the
I played the
world
farming simulator for a little while.
of Harvest Moon. So you can stop in and check that out tomorrow evening. And if you are into this, the podcast we just did, Between the Profound and the Profane, a comedy podcast where lifelong friends gather together every week to trade friendly stories, give friendly advice, and try to learn something new about their friends, you can check that out on thebonushours.com as well as wherever podcasts are given away for free because you don't pay for this wonderful
No.
content.
We also have a Discord. It's in the doobly-doos at the bottom below the screens. Check us out. Come on in. We're always there. I mean, my phone's going. I mean, it's always on me. So
Yeah, we're
come on
always
in.
around. We're always on. You can follow me on Twitter here at Pocket of Crime. That's Pocket of CHRYM.
Same for me. Uber Hoax right below.
And you can hit me up anytime. Say hi, tell me to fuck off, and tell me my mustache is bad, because, that's what we're here for,
Oh,
is
yeah.
to be berated.
I thought you said Bieber-aided.
You mean like Bieber-aided?
I have Bieber
Yeah.
fever.
Like,
okay.
like Bieber-aid?
Yeah. Is that like his new Gatorade?
Made from semen.
Oh, but he's married now, so it's easier to collect. I mean, what?
And this has been Between the Profound and the Profane from the Bonus Hours. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope we have been, between profound or profane, enough for you. Does anybody have any last words?
Go ahead. You have anything you want to say?
Have an awesome week.
Yes, awesome week. It's coming up. Enjoy.
Be excellent to each other and party on, y'all. Good night, everyone. Woo!